Hi, I'm Dolly Simonovich. What defines a person? Usually in our culture, along with family and friends, a person is defined by their work. But once you retire, who are you? That's when a hobby or a passion takes over. In this case, it's all three items, work, hobby, and passion, that mix together to form a wonderful definition of our next guest.
I'm Harry Costa. I originally grew up in South San Francisco, and I worked at the local drugstore, Pywell's Drugstore, all through high school. I can remember making about 35 cents an hour in those days. When I graduated high school, I got a job in San Francisco for just about a year. But I wasn't driving, so I would have to take a bus or a train. And I always would pass up the South City stop all the time and have to backtrack. I would fall asleep on the train or the bus. So I said, that's not it for me. So I left there and I got a job with the Armoring Company in South San Francisco. Easier to get back and forth to work. I stayed there for about almost 20 years. I enjoyed it very much. I ran their computer department when I left. Then I said, gee, I don't want to work for anybody else. So I came to San Bruno and I bought an employment agency. And then I expanded to another employment agency thinking I would buy up my competition, but it wasn't my niche in life. So I got rid of that, and when I was at Armoring Company, I was in charge of office supplies. So rubber stamps always fascinated me. So I bought a little machine to back up popular mechanics, get rich at home, make rubber stamps. So it happened to work for me pretty good. And I took my retirement money and I bought an inventory to get started from H.S. Crocker. And then we had 3 stores for a while. I took my brother in as a partner because I couldn't handle the business. At those days we had a lot of business. But now with Office Depot and Staples, it's awfully hard to have a small business. And San Bruno really has been a second home to me. Even though I was born and raised in South San Francisco, I've always enjoyed San Bruno. I used to be in charge of their Chamber of Commerce. I was a secretary there. I was the CEO for 20 years or so. I belong to the local Lions Club presently, still the past president, past treasurer. I've done the Posey Parade in town in San Bruno for many, many years.
Connie Jackson, being driven by Harry Costa.
I still work on it with the local Lions Club. I feel we do a lot of good for the community. We're doing the 4-H Club. We do baskets at Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, food for the needy. We have blood drives, and we help whatever community we can, anything in the community we can help with, we do. I think people who work or live in a community should give something back to the community. And Dennis Samet from Artichoke Joe's is a great contributor to the city of San Bruno and the community. He does an awful lot. He helps our club also when we need it. If we get in a bind for something, he's the first one to give us some extra money to go along with the project. I try to promote San Bruno all I can, especially shopping San Bruno. I think it's good for shopping downtown. The downtown area needs all the help they can get at the moment. My shop is called Just Things, and it's something out of the past for everybody. You name it, you ask for it, and if you don't see it, I probably can find it for you. I have about 10,000 Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, 300 or 400 Lionel trains. I have just actually thousands of things. There should be a museum. These are salesman samples to show people on the farm how an electric stove would work.
Really works?
Yeah, it gets hot, yeah. But this is how plugs used to be. Right now I have 150 toys displayed at the County Museum in Redwood City. A few months before that I did a display at the San Francisco airport. When you walk down the concourse and you see those things in plastic boxes, many times they borrow them from me. The last display were board games. Any TV show that had a board game they borrowed. The show before that they did was space toys, and they borrowed about 40 space toys from me. I started with the toys by buying a van full of trains, Lionel trains mainly. And here I got $15,000, $20,000 tied up in trains. And after a while I decided I really didn't like trains because they're just whistle smoke forwards and backwards on the old Lionel. Nowadays they have an electronic chip and they do many, many things. So then I started going back to my childhood and the toys out of the 20s and 30s. They were just so well made, and they did something. They were very exciting. So I expanded from the trains into toys and anything that I had when I was a kid. I was a Depression baby, so now I have all the toys I couldn't have when I was little, and then some. In almost every family, or uncle or grandfather had the Charlie the Reaper part. And I found that people enjoy looking at things from the past. Most of my customers say, "Oh, I had this when I was a kid. I want it again." It brings back their childhood, or perhaps their youth, or good times of their life. I love coming to work every day. It's a pleasure, actually. I meet people from all over the world because I advertise close to the airport, and they all think it should be a museum, not a store. They're just amazed that everything in here belongs to me. It's not on consignment. The thrill of owning the store is finding something when somebody asks for it. I say, "Oh, I know where that's at," and they can't believe it most of the time. I enjoy being business by talking to people. I like the correspondence. I love to find something that somebody's looking for years.
Oh, baby, have you ever seen a burnout like that? A moving fog maker at the beach? The state.
I love to find something that somebody's looking for years, or find out, oh, I have that at home. I have a very interesting train from 1938, a Lionel train, and I was showing it to some lady. She goes, "Gee, I rode on that real train in 1939. She goes, "I'll be right back." And she goes home, she goes back with her scrapbook. She had everything for that train. She had the menu, she had the schedules, and she even kept napkins, and she had a whole scrapbook. And so we made a deal, and I acquired that. So I like to get something and keep adding to it. That's how I started my collection about the World's Fair. Treasure Island was 1939, 1940. It was the World's Fair. At the same time, they were having a World's Fair in New York, so there was a lot of competition between the two. I recall going to that when I was about 8 years old with my parents. We went by ferry boat one time, went by train one time, and went by car one time. And you would walk around all day on this island that had just things from all over the world. It was very, very interesting. They even had a Japanese displayed, and that was right just before World War II was getting ready to start. And your tea was served in here. The cup was the lid. Toys from the 1930s really excite me. They were so well made, cast iron toys, aluminum toys, Japanese battery operated toys in the early 50s. Just things mechanical. I guess I love things mechanical. That's why I have a car collection also. Presently I have about 15 cars. I love Corvettes. This yellow Corvette, I wanted a yellow car. My wife kept saying no. She hated a yellow car. So we were in Santa Barbara, and I rented one from Hertz, a yellow Corvette. Now on an airplane on the way back, she goes, "See, that yellow Corvette was sort of nice." Monday morning, I found this one and bought it right away. So I got my yellow car. I have 4 Corvettes at the moment. This red Corvette is a 1987. It's all original paint. It's never been repainted or anything. It's like a hot rod.
Can I sit in it?
Sure.
Oh.
He's down to the ground in these cars.
Got my driving gloves on.
There you go. I bought this red one just down the street.
How many miles are on it?
I think this has got about 60,000 or something. And I used to own my mother's a car. You can see the sign on the wall over there, and a picture of it to the left.
Uh-huh.
It was a TV car. Remember years ago? Ann Southern and Van Dyke. The car came back to life as his mother. I have a Delorean, the stainless steel car from Back to the Future.
How many chances do you get to look in a Delorean?
have a Bricklin. I have a Jaguar. I have 4 1936 Fords. This is a 1936 Ford Phaeton, a very desirable and rare car, even during 1936. It's very popular. I rent it for weddings.
This is beautiful.
I have a 46 Ford convertible. I have a 1941 Ford convertible that I built in the early 1950s, and I still have it all these years. I built it in my mother's garage in South San Francisco, where I was born. It's been in all the car magazines, and it's still a nice-looking car. I have a lot of good friends in San Bruno. Dennis Samet, Joe Welch, Robert Marshall, Isaac Mejia from Don Picos. All those gentlemen are gone now. So I'm getting to be last of a breed, I guess. Getting up in age and things happen. And they were all dear friends. Joe Welch helped me an awful lot in business. Bob Marshall was a great friend. He was mayor for 14 years. We belonged to Lions Club together. We had summer houses together. We went to Japan several times. I went to Japan for the city of San Bruno with the Sister City Committee. And I did, I think, 8 times I've been there. And I enjoyed it very much. My favorite vacation place is Italy. I love going to Italy. I'm back 14 times now. Oh, my health is not bad nowadays. I've had my open heart surgery and things that men my age have. But I think I do everything in moderation. I love going out for dinner, but I will split an entree instead of having 2 entrees. I try and limit myself to just 1 or 2 drinks. I do like that. But I don't go overboard with anything if I can help it. I think moderation is good for your health, and I think it makes your marriage happy too. If we've been married over 50 years, we learn to give and take a little bit. So I keep my stuff out of her hair, and she keeps out of my hair. She'll tell you that the only reason we're married so long is because I cook. I love cooking, so she cleans up. That's my deal. I cook, she cleans. Her brother is visiting from New York this weekend for the Super Bowl game, so I have my whole dinner planned. I'm going to have abalone, I'm going to have some tomato bisque soup, I'm going to have a sweet potato. I got everything lined up. I can't wait to start cooking for him. He just entertained us in New York for 5 days, so now it's my turn.
Harry's store, Just Things, at 575 San Mateo Avenue, has so many items to see, we just scratched the surface. It seems unfair to show anything without hearing Harry's story about it. And there are thousands of items. What would you find interesting? Check it out and have a chat with Harry. He has tons of stories and loves to discuss his toys with others who are interested in them. And maybe you have something that Harry would be interested in. I'm Dolly Simonovich. Thanks for joining us on our trek to the Toyland of San Bruno. Bye now.